This Olympic showcase is brought to you by Mazda Cars and Trucks. Mazda, it just feels right. And by Radio Shack, America's technology store. Nobody compares for Christmas shopping.
NBC Olympic Showcase comes to UNLV where the Running Rebels, the national champions of college basketball, set to take on the Soviet national team at Thomas and Mack Center. As we look now at the starting lineups for the Runnin Rebs, the backcourt players, Gary Tarkanian says, I love my guards. Greg Anthony is the point guard. Anderson Hunt is an outside sharpshooter. They are both superior defenders. The whole team is based on defense. Augmon might be the best defensive player in America. Stacey Augmon, a former Olympian. Larry Johnson, as Al McGuire pointed out, is probably going to be the top player picked in the NBA draft this year when he comes out. And the center starting today is Chris Jeter. The regular center this year, George Ackles, is not eligible for this game, but he will play at UAB when the Rebs open there. There's Coach Tarkanian in his 18th year, looking as nonplussed as ever, huh?
And he's starting to show a little wear and tear. He had a great summer till the end of July, and the NCAA says no big show.
Here's the Soviets' Kontaras Vetra, great outside shooter, and Sergei Bazarov. He is their penetrator. Marishnoy is hitting 71% three-pointers. The big guy on the top of your screen, Valery Danetko, is the other forward, and the center is Dmitry Sukharev. This is the 7th game of an 8-team tour for the Soviet team. There is Vladis Garastas, their coach. He was detained in Atlanta. They have some kidney stone problems looked at. Seems to be feeling better. Tip control by the Soviet Union, and Vetra takes it to the basket, and the UNLV Runnin Rebs find themselves down 2-0 at the outset. Augmon with the ball gets it down low to Larry Johnson, giving away height, but he has great ability to move bigger men away from the basket with his power. Augmon, whose offense has improved markedly, the defensive specialist, hits the first shot for UNLV.
Soviet Union was playing the zone that time. They very rarely do that.
Playing in a haze of smoke from the opening celebration. Vetra gets it over to Danetko. Here is the sharpshooter, Barishnoy. And Augmon's on him, and he can't get a shot away. Now Sukharev puts it up, gets his own rebound.
One thing you got to remember about the Soviet team, they can shoot. They also are used to playing with a 30-second shot clock. We're using a 45-second shot clock today. By the time the clock gets around 28 seconds and the Union has the ball, they will force it up.
And the ball comes inbounds now to UNLV. Coach Tarkanian cautioned his team yesterday. He said, you won't see better shooters than this ever. You've got to pick them up high and defend against them. Right now, UNLV running its offense, and Larry Johnson strokes that three-pointer.
As I told you in the top of the show, that Larry Johnson's going to show his outside shooting this year. Even off a fast break, he'll shoot from out there.
Sukharev who scored the last time down. Down to Larry Johnson, quickly up court it goes, and firing from the outside is Anderson Hunt. Rebound to Danetko of the Soviet Union. Bazarevich, their fast break leader. Loop lead pass goes to Barishnoy. Down low to Bazarevich, and a whistle stops play. We're going to have a foul called on Chris Jeter. UNLV has beaten the Soviet Union, as you know, in the last 3 years. They're the only American college team that's done that.
Well, one of the reasons is because of their defense. UNLV has no fooling around on defense. Offense, every now and then they'll take a Hail Mary shot, but no fooling around on defense. Coach Tark never gets the credit. He's an outstanding defensive coach, and that's how come they won the national championship last year.
Man-to-man D, says Tarkanian. I want my guys just pressuring the ball all the time. He's not a believer in complicated changing defenses, matchup zones. He says the more you make your players think, the slower their feet get.
Well, he does use one thing we'll notice later in the game, the amoeba zone. We'll explain it to you on the telestrator.
It sounds like it needs some explaining. And now inside, Johnson can't get it to go, but a whistle stops play again, and Larry Johnson will go to the free throw line as Sukharev gets called for the personal foul.
Barishnoy fouls Larry. Larry's down low. Once he's down there with the size of his romp, he's a space eater. It's automatic. Now either he's going to get a basket or a three-point play. The ball dances around, does not go in. And here comes the guy from Dallas out of Odessa Junior College.
Last season was his first for UNLV. He was a junior here last year, transferring from Odessa out of Dallas Skyline High School. Tarkanian says he's got the best attitude of any athlete he's ever been around. Maybe not the best free throw, at least on those two.
Stepped in too soon. Doris Bersnoy stepped in too soon that time, so give that shot over. You must hold until the ball touches the rim. International play are allowed to see they stepped in again. International play, they're allowed to step in.
Right. That's going to be a continuing problem. Normally when they come over, they play international rules. Bersnoy hawked by Augmon. This is their big score, the Soviets. Finally, he loses Augmon with a fake, but the rebound's off to Johnson. Running the ball down the court now is Greg Anthony. Down low to Anderson Hunt. And the Soviets come over the ball, and they come back the other way. Vazarevich leading the break. Loop lead goes down low to Daneko, and he can't get it to work, and we've got a full court game going now. A track meet as Greg Anthony again gets it low.
Nice feed again inside to Johnson. Johnson will end up with 40 points unless they start playing in front of him on defense. Here's the last play. Inside.
He's 6'7", 250, Larry Johnson. He'd be a first-round draft choice in the NFL as a tight end. Tremendous shooting touch. In fact, Tarkanian wants him shooting more threes this season.
His biggest asset is his leadership. He's an outstanding young man. And I'm not blowing smoke rings at him or feeding him French pastry. He's an outstanding guy. In high school, he was a player of the year. In junior college, he was a player of the year. And a good chance you could get player of the year this year. The guy he has to watch would be Owens from Syracuse.
Running Rebs with a 3-point lead now. Soviet Union with the ball. Anderson Hunt hawking Vazarevich. They like to penetrate the Soviets and then kick it out like this for the 3-point try. Daneko can't get it to go, and here comes Anthony. Leads the break. Quickly to Anderson Hunt all the way down.
UNLV will at least get 11 of those cherry-pick layups. Soviet team does not come back on D. Good call by the ref that time. Here comes the break. They don't come back. See how he got the inside lane. All she wrote.
Anderson Hunt lit it up against the Soviets last year. He scored 36 points in a Vegas win. The problems of Jerry Tarkanian in the NCAA have been ongoing. Here's a summary. In 1977, the NCAA suspended Jerry Tarkanian for 2 years for recruiting violations. Tarkanian then blocked the suspension with a court injunction. The injunction was upheld in a district court in 1984. But in 1988, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled the NCAA was within its rights to suspend Tarkanian. 3 months after the Rebels won the NCAA title last spring, the governing body banned the UNLV team from the 1991 tournament. Now Tarkanian is offering options to the NCAA if it will allow his team to go to the tournament next March. The NCAA is considering those options, but to date has not lifted the tournament suspension. And that's how it stands now. At halftime, Gail Gardner will be talking with Jerry Tarkanian about this ongoing problem. It's a major one. Coach McGuire knows as much about it as anybody. We'll be talking more about that with Al. As right now, the Soviet Union looks to put the ball in bounds. Here is Wetra. The Houston Rockets have been scouting him on this trip as a shooting guard.
He's the only possibility for the NBA out of this squad.
Collision. 3 people hit the deck down low with 16:49 to play in the first half, and UNLV in the lead 9-4. Here's a look at this last play. Dukarov goes to the ground, and the ball turns over on the play to the Runnin Rebs. Greg Anthony, they call him the senator with the ball. President of the Arizona Young Republicans. Wants to be a U.S. senator. Johnson kicks it out. Greg Anthony with a high looping 3-point strike. The Rebs take command 12-4. The Soviets have led every game in the previous 6 against top American teams by double-digit margins. They come in, though, with 2 wins and 4 losses. Travel call on the Soviet Union forced by Jeter's tight defense.
Barsnoy that time lost his control. They stepped out to stop the three-man weave. It's a call for charging.
Larry Johnson coming out high, and he hits a second three-pointer. So Johnson finding that long-distance range again. He now has 8 points to lead the Reds, and they've opened up an 11-point lead. As a Raven, good penetrator with the dribble drive, takes it right on through. And again, ripping the rebound down as a UNLV player, and Larry Johnson down low to Augmon, and he is going to be called for an extra step. Our officials today are Bob Sitton, Charles Range, and Ron O'Morey. Second turnover of the game. Intercept by Augmon. Lead pass goes to Anderson Hunt. Right on through, and he'll draw a shooting foul. Guendaris Vetra is the man who fouled him. I asked Vetra before the game, Al, if he'd like to play in the NBA. If good enough, yeah.
Well, Vetra's good enough, but he's getting up there in age. He's 28 years of age now. He's a law student. He has a baby. The only thing that might hurt him in the NBA, his shot is flat. He doesn't have enough trajectory on it.
Their other big man, Barishnoi, is hitting 71% threes, 12 of 17 in the previous games in this tour. Back at UNLV, there was big news this week when Sports Illustrated came out there. What's that all about?
Well, what happens with Sports Illustrated, it's on the stands this week, the clothes that these two fellas wore, Augmon and Johnson, inside it gives the names of the designers and the stores. That's illegal by NCAA. So yesterday, the commissioner, Henley, of the Big West called the NCAA. They got back to him and said, hey, these two guys are ineligible for the year. So then they said, well, call the attorney for the UNLV, called Sports Illustrated. Sports Illustrated called the NCAA, and Stacey Augmon and Larry Johnson are not ineligible.
No, they had no idea that the clothing manufacturer names are going to be in there, and the Sports Illustrated people explained that. And so they're eligible again, but for a while yesterday, the Shark almost had the big one there when he heard that news. That two All-Americans were ineligible.
Well, it definitely is against the NCAA rules. Now, how Sports Illustrated gets away with it, I don't know. Now, Kerry Kirkpatrick wrote an interesting story on the inside.
Here is Vetra gunning the three-pointer. This is the guy the Rockets like, and he gets off the schneid now with the big hit, and that puts 16-7 numbers up on the board as down low Johnson scores for UNLV. You're right, Al, about the Soviet defense. They don't get back.
Don't get back. They're not interested in the defensive end. They think they can outscore you.
Larry Johnson with 10 points now for the Runnin' Rebels. No foul on Vetra. Lots of people hitting the floor. Here comes Augmon on the run. Zuckeref tries to defend. Augmon kicks it out, and Anderson Hunt fires a three. Rebound to Augmon. The Runnin' Rebs at the moment blowing out the Soviet Union 20-7.
Soviet Union showing signs of wear from their road trip. They lost in overtime to Georgia Tech 2 nights ago. Their last game is going to be against Syracuse, I think a night or two from now.
There is Garastas, their coach.
Now, watch how they don't get back on defense, the Soviets. See? They can really, and once Larry Johnson gets the ball down low, I mean, all you can do is pray after that.
He's just too much. Has a great ability to move people away with his big, wide body. And it's all muscle. Now he fires again from the outside. He hit his previous 2 threes, and a whistle stopped play. 14-11 to go in the first half.
Gray that time, pole vaulted, foul on him. This is a young man that's a junior college transfer, Eric Gray.
UNLV broke it open with a 6-0 run over a period of just over a minute on the game clock. UNLV doing the best job anybody has yet of stopping the penetration. Here comes Barishnoi to the basket. There's going to be an offensive foul called on him. He moved his man out with his arm.
Soviet Republic players are getting frustrated. They're not used to this type of defense. This is belly button to belly button. These guys get right inside your pants. I'm telling you, people don't realize how great the Runnin' Rebs are at defense.
Arcadian says, I love my guards. Best defensive guards that anybody's ever had as a pair. Here's another whistle and stop play.
That basket should count. The Soviet player got his hand caught in the net, and with the hand caught in the net, the breakaway basket came down a little bit. Watch, see his hand caught in the net? See the breakaway basket come down there? So they should count that basket good. Nice camera work by the crew here. See him catch it there? Ah, my eyes are still good. The eyes of an eagle, the heart of a tiger.
That's it. In front of reject from inside the goal. Igor Pinchuk.
He's 0 for 2 from the foul line. He's not concentrating.
It's remarkable in the opinion of a lot of people. These guys stayed in school. This guy would have come out as probably a top 3 pick in the first round.
I was a little bit upset with the NCAA with that only, and the NCAA is a good organization, but they knew that UNLV was going down. They should have told Augmon and Johnson so they could have went to the lottery.
Soviets unable to run that figure-8 weave they like so much. All this jump switching by the UNLV players, taking away the Soviet offensive flow. Down with the rebound comes Everett Gray. Up court to Anthony. Augmon with a big step. These guys are flat out outstanding.
Yeah, they're playing ping pong off the glass. Wow, did that kid Gray get up that time?
Rejects Wetra.
Another star. I talked to him before the game. He says he's nervous. He knew he wouldn't get too much playing time. There goes Gray. Look at that. Wow. And then Augmon coming from the other side. That's athlete. Look at him up. If O'Banion and if Tarver would have stayed here, and the 2 junior college kids that are coming here, one is Spencer, the other kid's name is Love. They'll be eligible December 15th. I say that this would possibly have been the greatest college team ever. And don't laugh at me, Don. They could have been the greatest possible ever.
Well, that's saying a lot, but there's certainly a lot to back it up. Tarkanian himself says that. He said, they do have 2 big men coming in, Al, as you know, in December.
We're out of Clark Community College in Las Vegas here. Spencer's 7'2". The other kid is Love, I think he's 6'7". These are the 2 kids that went on. What Tark did, instead of signing these kids to a scholarship, he didn't know whether they were going to go down. When they ended up going down to the NCAA, they were allowed to transfer right into UCLA. O'Bannon had some tough breaks. His knee went on him. Here goes the solo.
Belashenko with the steal from Anthony. Lead goes to Bazarevich, and a good play by the Soviets on the defensive end. They start to go to the bench now.
Oh, another solo.
Belashenko is normally a starter, was not called on to start today. Again, he steals. This time he takes it through, and the Soviets are back to within 12.
Tark will make the sub move here. He doesn't like to see that breakdown. He doesn't only want to win by 20, he wants to win by 40. When he wins by 40, he wants to win by 60.
He's like Jerry Tubbs at Oklahoma.
Well,
too much is not enough.
And he's a fighter. I asked him about the NCAA thing. You know, he says to me, hey, I fought for 13 years. When am I going to stop you? So I said, Jerry, you lost. The Supreme Court, even though you lost in overtime, the Supreme Court voted 5-4 against you. They won. They got to hit you with something. He said, we'll see. Watch these steals now. You know what's happening? They're getting relaxed now. They're starting a showboat. See that move there? That was definitely a showboat, a hot dog move. Tried to hook him in the back. That's Greg Anthony on that one. Now here's Greg Anthony again. Another showboat move. Time to get back to seriousness. 24-12.
One thing these Soviets are tough. Watching their practice last night, if they ever practice like that with that kind of contact, there'd be a fight every 30 seconds on an American team. They slam each other, foul each other, and nobody seems to mind. Belashenko doing good things.
That could have been goaltending that time. I thought the ref missed it on Johnson.
It goes the other way. They try to get a 3. Here's a guy who can fire it, Travis Bice.
Yeah, Bice can hit it, but he has to be flat-footed to hit it. You got to get his feet right underneath him.
Waldman and Bice in the back line now for UNLV.
Here's the possible goaltender. Watch Johnson come across. Get up there, man. Get up, get up, get up. Pretty close. That ball was almost at its zenith. Now listen out there, gang. When the ball hits its apex, its zenith, then you can't touch the ball. I would say then the ball was on its way down. Matter of fact, I think it was wet. It was so high.
You got it up there, and Johnson going way up to reject it. He's having trouble at the line, but not on the inside. So far, Larry Johnson has scored 14 points for UNLV.
2 out of 3 from three-point land.
Twelve minutes to go, first half. And Larry Johnson gives the Runnin' Rebs a 13-point lead. Finally, the Soviets starting to get some dribble penetration. Now the backup guards are in.
Well, they went to 3 guards now. Went to that trifecta. Gives them more movement, more long-range shooting.
Weiss can't get the handle. He's looking to shoot the 3. Everett Gray. He bangs it.
If you're nervous for this game, Gray, I wonder what you're going to do when you're not nervous. Tark is such a great junior college JUCO recruiter. He used to coach in junior college. Matter of fact, he went to junior college as a student.
He was saying, Al, that he's coaching at a high school, Redlands, I think, in California, as a high school coach when he got tired of going up and down the bench to get water in a close game, so he soaked a towel in the water bucket and started biting off the towel. He's had it ever since. Lazarevich, he's their best long-distance shooter, but not there. Now there's a foul call.
Foul was on Pinchuk.
Tremendous pride on this UNLV team. As Stacey Augmon was telling us yesterday, this is the closest team he's ever been on. He said there's no rivalries, no jealousy. Everybody roots for everybody else.
That's because of Stacey Augmon and Larry Johnson. If your stars are unselfish, your team is unselfish. And put together maybe the best backcourt in the country with Hunt and Anthony. And the other 2 teams that are pushing would be North Carolina State with Corciani and Monroe, and also down there at Arkansas with Todd, Day, and Mayberry. Those are about the best 3 sets of guards in college ball today in those 3 teams.
And then at Georgia Tech with Kenny Anderson and anybody.
Kenny Anderson, as I've said many times, in my opinion, is the greatest point guard that's ever lived.
He scored 41 against the Soviets the other night in Atlanta.
I always said that Calvin Murphy was the best. You watch as he gets a little bit more mature, gets a little bit more upper body strength. And I'm talking this takes 3, 4, 5 years to show, Don. Yeah, I know he had 41 points against the Soviet team, but the ball's an extension of his body. He's the only player that I would pay to go watch. Because I always on the
Kenny
arm.
Anderson.
Yeah, I'm always on the arm. I never pay for anything.
You learned that in Brooklyn, right?
I don't know. I learned it from my parents. My youngest son always says to me, everyone says we're rich, Dad. Why don't we spend some money? I said, why?
Right now, a foul call on H. Waldman. That's his full name, H. Waldman. He's from Las Vegas. Here is Vereshnoy, who likes to shoot the 3. Finally, he gets it to go down.
That's what they need. That might give him a run.
He's got to shoot over 90% when nobody's guarding in the 3-point line. I never saw anything like it, like he's shooting last night. Just like he's shooting free throws. Waldman can't get it down, but big Larry Johnson fights his way through the Soviets and gets another 2.
Soviets, you must fight for inside position. Whoever has inside position on the rebound, if it's offensive, they're going to put it back for a chippy. Nice alley-oop.
A little too much on it. Long pass goes to Larry Johnson. Doesn't get the roll. It comes to Milashenko.
Lazarevich made a good move that time. He stepped out of the way of Johnson.
Nice. Lead pass from Lazarevich inside to Igor Pinchuk. Pinchuk will go to the line.
Pinchuk is not a bad center. Plays in streaks.
They say he's their most improved player over a year ago.
He has an outside chance down the line of becoming a pro, but is at least 4 years away. You got to remember, European players play at 12 and 6. American players play at 3 and 9. That means they play bent over. That doesn't mean European players are bad because they play standing up. Which they showed us in the World Games.
You'll have to run that by us again.
Our faces on the clock. Americans play bent over. They're more something.
UNLV doing a big job at the offensive end, getting rebounds, and now drawing the foul. And Chris Jeter, who wants to keep playing, he has been a player that really hasn't come up to the potential they thought he had. As we mentioned earlier, George Ackles, who was out last year with a hand fracture, they think is just a dominating inside player. There's George. He has to sit out this game. A one-game suspension dating back to something about unpaid hotel incidentals from a year ago.
2 years ago, there were 9 guys that ran up bills between $7 and $50. That means they had an extra show on Spectravision or took some pop or telephone calls. And each one of those 9 guys had to sit out a game. He couldn't sit it out last year because he broke his wrist and was medically redshirted. So when he was medically redshirted, he'd owed a game. So the NCAA called up this week and says, hey, make him sit out this game. And that's how come Ackles is not playing in this game. Jeter is definitely a backup center. A hard-nosed player, does the best he can.
Everett Gray as the UNLV Rebs dominating at the offensive end, but they can't get it to go. Here's the lead pass to Melashenko to Vetra. Guendaris Vetra hits for 2. It's a 32-19 game with 9:20 to play in the first half. 8 points for Vetra. Arcadian now giving a long rest to his starting guards, Anderson, Hunt, and Greg Anthony. Hunt back in now. He's been on the bench for about 7 minutes.
Trying to get some confidence into Bice. They want him to hit 1 or 2 because he's their zone buster. He's the guy that can off the bench if their starting guards are cold from outside, because UNLV this year, that's all they'll see is zones. You can't beat them man-to-man.
Larry Johnson was out about 30 seconds. He's coming back in. As Pinchuk can't get it to go. Guard H. Waldron takes it down and gets it up court to Gray. And the pressure never stops.
I want to tell you something. I only watched Gray play about 6-7 minutes outside of practice yesterday, but in this game today, there's a future star.
He's a junior, Everett Gray. Ball comes inbounds to the Soviet Union. Let's watch Everett Gray again here, Al.
Well, he has quick feet, and he bounces around underneath the basket. He seems to be aware that wherever the basket is. Now watch him win the back door here. Kept his eye on the rim, good body control. Future pro. Nice follow through. Bice got a piece from that time. That is Melashenko. Ole. Nice shot here. He penetrates. There's the foul by Bice.
They've got Bice, Dice, Ice, and Nice on this team. They call Anderson Hunt Nice because he's such a nice guy. This guy's name is Travis Bice. They call Stacey Augmon Ice because he just ices people he defends against. And the other guy is Rhodes Scholar candidate, Rice. There
must be 3,000 Rhodes Scholar candidates in college basketball. Every time I go to a school, they get 2 guys that are Rhodes Scholar candidates. I'm going to speak to Senator Bill Bradley.
Well, he went the distance. He got the real thing. In fact, his former team's coming in here December 19th. Tarkanian was saying that Pete Carrill, the coach of Princeton, is a very good friend of his. He says nobody will play Carrill after that Georgetown game. They all want to duck him.
Well, what he does, he patty cakes the ball many touches. That means he takes it down to 38, 40 seconds on each possession. If you don't have patience, he creates a lot of problems for you.
Tarkanian said he got me in a soft moment. I don't like to be playing him either. Foul call at the other end stops play with 7:43 to go in the first half.
That was all skin that time on Anthony Hunt. Watch, all skin, no leather. Catch that skin. There you go.
Tarkanian was saying now that Princeton backdoor play, said, you know when you're in trouble when Carrill comes in with his team, they don't come in the front door. They sneak in the back door. You know what they have planned for you. So they got me in a soft moment. I shouldn't be playing him either. He doesn't want to play him. Well, last year they lost at Michigan State by 2, and they lost to a Final Four team, Arkansas, in the tournament by 4.
if you're going to play a team you're supposed to beat, then you play a team from Canada. When they come down with snowshoes on. But if you're going to play a team that can sneak up and beat you, then you're foolish. Then you may as well play a dynasty. You may as well go against a Georgetown. You may as well go against an Indiana and so forth. This year you don't play Arkansas or Arizona. Those guys are the coaches of the 90s. The coaches of the 80s were Denny Crum from Louisville and Mike Krzyzewski from Duke. And I think the coaches of the future, personally, I think it's this kid Kevin O'Neill at Marquette and the guy up there at Colgate, Jack Gruen.
He's terrific. It's an emerging game. And those are two great young coaches, Gruen and O'Neill, as Anderson Hunt on a technical call is at the line now for UNLV, and he extends their lead to 36-22. My son Mark had the pleasure of playing for Gruen, was his captain up there last year.
Here's where the technical will come in. Watch this elbow. There it is. Wasn't a big elbow, but it was an elbow.
Oleg Melashenko at the free throw line. These guys are real time-tested road warriors. They go all over, and they like it.
Well, right now there are 5 Soviet teams touring the United States. Matter of fact, there are different 5.
Like the circus.
It's like Elvis Presley. He's alive. I've seen 2 places on the strip where he was appearing last night.
Back to UNLV with the Rebs in command.
This Olympic showcase is brought to you by Chevy Trucks. More people are winning with the heartbeat of America. And by Soloflex Muscle Machine, a new era in fitness.
The last time on that technical foul, it was a dead ball technical foul. So watch it here. He gives an intentional elbow, not forceful, but that's not a right thing to do. Then you go down, you take 2 foul shots and the ball out. That's because the ball was dead. It was not in action. Good steal by Anthony.
So the Rebels turn up the defensive pressure a notch and force another turnover by the Soviets. And here comes their standout point guard, Greg Anthony. A lot of the coaches say if you want to just grade out a guy, he might be our most valuable player, Greg Anthony. 2 assistant coaches told me that yesterday, separately. Jeter turns, can't get the shot to go. And again, Johnson's in the fight for the rebound, and it'll come inbounds to the running Rebs.
Let me tell you something about Greg Anthony. He's paying his own way to school here this year. And he's a PR rep for a real estate firm, and he owns a sporting goods business. But he's paying his own way, so it has nothing to do with the NCAA. He's in his 5th year. He started out at Portland, and he was the most valuable player in that conference. Then he transferred here, sat out a year, and played this 3rd year.
And he's from Las Vegas.
Originally.
I want this Larry Johnson on my team now. How good is this guy?
So does everybody in the NBA.
He's a complete player, though. He defends all over the floor. He runs. Racehorse speed, he's smart. He's got the whole package, this guy.
But the biggest thing he has, and I said it earlier, and I'm repeating myself, is his leadership qualities. He's just an outstanding young man. And he wants to do what's right. And I said to him earlier about, would you have liked to have gone into pro ball this year? He said, no, I wanted to spend the 2 years in college. And
here we go.
so
guys, right down.
There'll be plenty of time for ringing the register after this.
He'll ring it good. From a tough part of Big D from South Dallas. And he's a big hero. He goes back there and plays in the summer leagues, and places are packed. He's a guy from South Dallas who made it big.
12-point spread with 6.5 minutes to halftime.
Augmon down low, and again to the basket with abandon goes big Larry Johnson, but he can't get it down. Game clock shows 6:30 to play in the first half.
They've got to double down on Larry. I mean, once he gets this position, forget it. They're not doubling down. He gets inside, and he's just a destroyer inside. He has a sumo body. Sumo wrestler.
Yeah, and he's lean now. He's big, but he's lean.
Lean? Well, you're used to those Notre Dame football players anyway. You call them lean, too.
This guy's 250 pounds with a 34-inch waist.
Coach Lou Holtz would like to have him?
You just stand him out there, he's going to scare somebody with it. I bet he'd be a great football player. Pass rusher, tight end, fullback.
Watch this defense right away. See, right up on top, man. Look, they stepped in front of him. What are they going to call here? Oh, they're going to call he stepped in front, didn't allow room. He did have his shoulder ahead of him. Anthony stepped in front. Now watch what happens. The idea is you get your shoulder ahead. Now watch. See the shoulder move ahead? Now it's up to the defensive man. He did not make the adjustment. Great call by the ref. Now these are FIBA referees. That's why they don't have on those, striped shirts. This is all governed by USA Today basketball. Bill Wall is their commissioner and runs the day-to-day operation.
That, of course, is the governing body. Under that, the aegis of USA Basketball. Our next Olympic team will be coming out of there. And it looks more and more, Al, like it's going to be an NBA coach and a lot of NBA players.
I'm not going to, if I start yelling now, it's too early in the game. All I'm telling you, an NBA All-Star team, a college All-Star team, will not win the Olympics in '92 in Barcelona, Spain. Now, remember, I told you, I don't care about MJ, I don't care about Patrick, I don't care about Magic. They will not win. You got to send a team. There's no I in team.
Who beat them? The Yugos?
Yugos would beat them. Maybe Spain. USSR would beat them. And possibly Italy. Nobody else. Now, if any of those teams put all-star teams in against our all-star team, we'd win by 40. Nice lead.
Anthony goes down to Larry Johnson, who was hacked on the arm. Not called, and Everett Gray out hustles people to the ball. Now watch Johnson work against these huge players. Can't get it down again, no foul call. And the Soviets come on the run with ground to make up. They're down by 12. 5:30 to play. Melashenko's come off the bench and hit for 6 points and stolen the ball twice to lead to other baskets.
Soviets are excellent pump faking, head faking.
Augmon not quite enough there. Actually tipped in by Melashenko going for the rebound. With his 3 field goals and 4 free throws, Melashenko has 10. Leading scorer in the game is Larry Johnson, who has now scored 21 points for UNLV.
Spread has remained the same for the last 10-12 minutes, between 9 and 13 points.
Melashenko at the top of his game. He has really played the best of any Soviet player in this game. They've not been hitting a high percentage of their shots, but Melashenko has. He is 12 now. 10-point game.
USSR can stop a score here, come down and break under that double digit and right back in. Uh-oh, too fancy, Stacey.
But again, the offensive board goes to the running Rebs, and Everett Gray erases the mistake with an offensive rebound and a follow-up shot. UNLV defending against the three-point shot extremely well. That is the strength of the Soviet game, and they just haven't been there. The open three-point shots.
Too much hands on Bice that time. Augmon on this move here had a simple layup. He wanted to do a back reverse slam dunk. And left the ground too soon. Tried to do it on the way down, but you can never shoot on the way down and dunk. It has to be on the way up. Shooting 2 shots because you're at the 10th foul. New rule in college basketball today. No shooting to the 6th foul. It's always been like that. 7, 8, 9, you shoot 1 and 1. After the 10th foul, you shoot 2 shots the rest of the time. First half and second half.
And of course, if a three-point shooter is fouled, he'll be shooting 3 free throws.
That's what happened the other day at Georgia Tech. And they fouled Kenny Anderson. He went to the line and made 3. Stepped in the lane early again. Soviets, that's force of habit.
Larry Johnson has given fits to the man defending against him. Dmitry Sukharev.
Rebels are playing 3 out, 2 down, picking for each other down low.
Augmon is rejected there by Bereshnoy. Loose ball goes over to Melashenko. Hawked by Anthony.
Big 3-point play here, and they're back in the game. They think they're playing the 30-second clock, and they're playing the 45-second clock.
Dyneko, he wasn't fouled. He looks at the official. And they again. They can't get it down. And now Larry Johnson, who missed 6 straight field goal tries, gets another one down. And he has now scored 23 points in the first half.
Just allowing too many putbacks. Foul again on Greg Anthony. Anthony's playing too close up above. He's so close, the guy gets a half a step on him. So Melanchenko Oleg gets the shot on the charity line, 15 feet out. The basket is always 10 feet high. Remember that. They'll never change the height of the basket. What they will do eventually, they will change the size and circumference of the basket.
Smaller?
Yeah.
How about what Abe Lemons wants? Put a hole in the floor and give the little guys a chance to make $1 million.
Well, you watch Kenny Anderson make $1 million. He's a little guy. How about Muggsy Bogues? How about Spud Webb?
Muggsy Bogues had 3 rebounds the other night. It's not bad when you're 5'3" in the NBA.
You know, one thing about this FIBA organization and these teams coming over here, 1992, the NCAA has eliminated visiting teams coming because they're taking the free game away, and that would be a shame. Because the present time, we got 50 teams in this country, men and women crisscrossing, and in the summertime, we send over to Europe, Asia, South America, Australia, 250 teams. Those are service teams, grade school, junior high, high school, AAU teams, and that's nice. It's goodwill, it's wholesome, it's what amateur sports is all about. I hope Bill Wall likes what I'm saying.
Tarkale is really working that towel across the way. We'll get a look at that in a little bit. As right now, his Runnin' Rebs are holding to a 13-point lead with 3:22 to play in the first half. Tim Gergerich, one of the assistants, counsels the team. They love Tark the Shark, particularly Larry Johnson, who stayed here because this coach means so much to him.
He's like a father figure. He's a great person. You know, everybody on his team respect him, and we love him to death. He does a lot for us on and off the floor, and you know, you just can't help but to give the man the utmost respect, and you know, we care for him dearly.
You know, Don, in doing an interview with him yesterday, I found out that when they said that Tark, if they took that Tark would not be allowed to coach in the tournament or in the season, the players said they wouldn't play the season or in the tournament unless Tark was there. That's a nice respect to a coach in today's world.
It really is. Well, he doesn't forget his ex-players, guys. Not everybody goes to pro basketball. Here is Augmon now with a 47-36 count on the board. The Soviets down by 11. Travis Bice goes to Augmon.
I'm surprised they're looking to Gray.
Augmon has been firing frequently. He's now 2 for 12 shooting from the field. Nazarevich pulling up. Well done by the captain of the Soviet team.
They finally broke it. They're down to 9 points. They're under double figures.
One thing, they won't go away. They're highly skilled and tough professionals, these Soviets.
Mainly because they all can shoot. There's the ever-present on an air ball, Larry Johnson. That was not a pass by Bice.
It was now. He gets an assist on it. Didn't hit anything, and 25 points, Al, on the board for Larry Johnson. Igor Korlev tries to go low. He doesn't have the great handle. Here comes Johnson as Vetra down low tries to defend. I mean, this Soviets guy, these are top players. This Johnson literally is toying with them.
What happens is they don't come back on defense. All of a sudden, look, on offense, they look like they're the Metcalfs, Jesse Owens of the 1936 Olympics, the great sprinters. But on defense, they don't move.
Johnson again. Up to Anthony. Lead to Augmon. By Vetra. And Augmon.
Too much English on the ball.
And a whistle stops play inside with 1:28 to play in the first half. Let's watch Larry Johnson a bit ago as he gets the air ball.
Now Bice puts up an air ball from the corner. He just has an instinct, a nose for the basket.
North Carolina State won an NCAA title that way.
Yeah. Now watch him move here in the rebound. Constantly around the ball.
Great defense defense is what Tarkanian wants more than anything else. He said all the team's intensity comes from that. I like what Bill Parcells, the coach of the unbeaten Giants, said about the loss of intensity. He said it's like measles. First 4 get it, then 8, then 16, then school's closed. Can't let anybody lose their intensity.
You know, it's funny. I get the biggest joke out of fans, coaches, and teams. They say we got this guy, we got that guy, we got this guy in the team, and we got like UNLV here now. They got 3 lottery picks plus the MVP of last year's NCAA tournament. And but there's normally the one guy you don't suspect that is lost. Usually the guy that averages 7-8 points, he's the blue. You never know a unit. They might lose one guy one year and be terrible. Next year they might lose 4 and be good. It's a mix. Your 5 best ball players never start on the basketball. It's the chemistry mixes. And when they start saying we rather than me.
That's what they say at UNLV. And the team concept, it starts this team defense. I mean, they help out. The big guys come out and defend all over the floor.
Gray got caught behind this rump. And this is what Larry's telling him. Don't get caught behind this rump. Play the thighs, one side or the other. Watch. Now he's caught behind the rump. See what I was telling you? There you are. Now he hooks him. He looks over there. Hey, Gray, you're not allowed to do that, son. But don't play a guys in the back. Play him on the side.
Only illegal if you get caught. They just got him as Chris Jeter comes back in now. Soviets 2-4. They defeated Purdue and Texas. They lost to Duke, Indiana, Connecticut, and Georgia Tech. Lost by a point to Connecticut in overtime.
They thought the best team they've played so far was Indiana.
Is that right?
And they thought that Anderson was outstanding.
As Arevich goes inside, has to put a lot of arc on the ball to get it down. He can't get the shot to go, but he will shoot 2.
I think that foul was on Larry Johnson. They might put it on Jeter.
Soviets love to go out. They like to hit the nice spots. Tony said in this trip that they haven't seen them out very much. Well, they don't go out when they lose.
You know why they don't go out? They have no money. No, that's no kidding. They have no money, honey. So they stay in their room. And
down in Atlanta, we were down there in August, that had some money because they were out.
But you know, in things back in the Soviet Republic are in bad shape. They're in very good shape. They're in for a long winter. Could be in some serious famine.
Augmon gets the Runnin' Red fans on their feet.
Gives a little shutter step before he goes up and dunks. Watch the step he gives before he dunks. There's a little side step. Crowd loves dunking in college.
Daneko gets it up as the Soviets have a 5-man break going now. Netra pulling up, not enough there. Walton leads the break for the Runnin' Rebs. Out to Travis Bice.
He needed that. He missed about 4 from out there. That's why the coach is leaving him in. The coach knows they got to build confidence in Bice. They got to get him to start hitting from 3-point land.
He's a junior and a zone breaker, along with Anderson Hunt, the best 3-point shooter. 8 buttons you see down inside. 25 seconds to play in the first half. John Crickey with Coach Al McGuire at UNLV, the Soviet national team. Now a violation signaled against the Soviets.
In international play, that's allowed. That was close guarding for over 5 seconds. This is one of the things that's going to happen, sending all-star teams over to Barcelona, Spain. I know I'm beating a dead horse to death. We must send a team over there, not an all-star group. Please listen to me, all you political power people that deal in round ball hoops and nets. Let's get back and get the goal.
Peter strokes it at the buzzer. So the Runnin' Rebs really put on a show here at the Thomas & Mack Center, opening up a 19-point lead on the Soviet national team, 60-41. Larry Johnson absolutely phenomenal in that last second hit. And now we're going to go to New York to NBC Sports Prudential Update and Gail Gardner. Gail?